One thing that Ray Dorsey and I, as a co-author of the book, like to talk about is we give the example of just because you have Parkinson doesn't mean you stop doing these things. Here's the example. If you had lung cancer, which so I hope you don't get lung cancer, Shannon, but if you had lung
Yeah.
cancer, what's the first thing I would tell you to do?
Stop smoking.
Stop smoking, right? Quit, the thing that's caused it and exacerbating those systems, like within your lungs. It's the same thing for your brain, right? And we don't do that because we haven't yet, when it comes to brain diseases, Shannon, we haven't yet evolved, to the point where we have begun to say, you know what? We're tired of cardiology and the Framingham study and atherosclerosis leading on all of these prevention things. We're ready for the neurological diseases. Like, we should be thinking about how we prevent these things, primary prevention of these diseases. Once you have the disease, you also need to take away the things that can further exacerbate it. It's just 101. Hippocrates said in medicine, all diseases have causes. And he also said, it's the conglomerates, the combination of all of our daily sins that lead to disease. And I think still a very important concept. And we're actually coming back to that original concept. So in the Parkinson 25, it's 25 things that you can do whether you have Parkinson or not. And what are my favorite 5 to tell?
Yes, I was just going
Okay.
to ask you that.
Here's my favorite 5. Okay. Number 1, for sure, get a carbon water filter on wherever you're drinking your water out of. Usually it's in the kitchen sink, especially if you can't afford to get your water tested by the local water authorities. They may not even test for all the things that you need to test for. Like we talked about dry cleaning chemicals and TCE, PCE, all of those things. Carbon water filter, super important. Well water, we always know well water. It has been increased risk with Parkinson. We don't talk about that. We've known it forever, just about forever. Forever is multiple decades in medicine. But, when you get a well, it can get contaminated a lot easier, okay? So carbon water filter, number 1. Number 2, air. Your nose is the gateway to your brain. You have these 2 railroad tracks that go right up your nostrils into your brain, and these 2 railroad tracks are called the olfactory. Olfactory means smell. Okay, not important you remember that, but those connect right into your brain. So what you breathe in is really associated, particularly with Alzheimer's, but also we're now starting to see a drip of studies in Parkinson disease as well. Air purifiers in your office, air purifiers in your home, particularly if you live in urban areas. Like I was talking to the group from New York City. I think more air purifiers were probably bought on Amazon during that talk I gave this morning. So depending on your locale and your zip code, and you may not know what your air quality is, So are you living around paper mills and so you can get that information. And so very easy thing to set up quiet air purifiers, change those filters. Okay. So number 2 is air purifiers.
Yep.
So we talk about water, right? We talk about air, we talk about food, okay? Whether you have organic or not, wash your produce either with copious water, or you can go to your favorite store. Some people like Trader Joe's, Publix, whatever. You can get a vinegar, just wash your vegetables, get the pesticides off. Cide means killer in Latin, CIDE. Pesticide, kill the pests. These things came about in the Industrial Revolution not to poison us. They came about to improve our food supply, right? To help poor people, help farmers with their crops. Now, farmers, which is the number 1 profession in the world, farmers have a higher risk of Parkinson disease. Why? Because of these exposures. So wash it off. In the USDA, in the US, you're lucky if you get 15 seconds of washing before you see anything, okay? So wash your produce. Number 4 is exercise, okay? Exercise is really important. It's like a drug. We think about that and do what you can. 4 20-minute walks a day if you can. And if you can't walk because of your knees or your back or your balance, then either getting an exercise cycler, just something you can put in front of you. You don't trip over it. You can sit in a chair and do that 4 20-minute sessions a day. Or you can get a recumbent bike that has a back on the chair here, but of course something that doesn't move like this, right? And do that for 20-minute cycles. We know if you get to 7,000 or 7,500 steps or step equivalents a day, people live longer, they live better, and we know that it helps the symptoms of Parkinson's. And by the way, that's what we call Google data. And what is Google data? Google data is when you don't need a mathematician, you don't need a scientist, you don't need Ray Dorsey, who worked for McKinsey before he was a neurologist. You don't need him to make you a chart to show you this.
We call it Chat GPT now.
It is compelling, right? It is. There's so much data, it's compelling.
Yes.
Number 5 is sleep, of my top 5. We now know there's a system, and we're starting to understand why we sleep. We still don't understand why humans sleep, but we're starting to get there. And we didn't know, Shannon, that there's a system in the brain called the glymphatic system. This is like if you had a party in your house last night and the whole kitchen was a mess, right? When everybody goes home and you spend a few hours like having to clean everything up, put things in the waste disposal, get rid of the stuff that's going to spoil, put all the stuff around. That has to happen in your brain every night when you go to sleep. Okay, so that's part of the magic, and that's part of a system called the glymphatic system that we didn't know existed. And I think of it like there's a whole group of dump trucks that are driving kind of up to your brain, and they're going to pick up all this debris and everything from all the cellular things, all the activities that have happened in your brain, clear things out, get ready for the next day, clear all those toxins and everything. So sleep we now recognize as being important. It's not enough to have one sleep study, if you have a disease like Parkinson, because you ask somebody, how do you sleep? And they either say, good, bad, whatever. You say, well, how do you know? And they're like, well, I don't know, because the answer is get a sensor. Right? Like you got rings, we got watches, we've got
Right?
3 of them on.
Yes.
And then you can share that information with your doctor, and we can help you to get to 6 to 8 hours of sleep. You're going to feel better. Your Parkinson's symptoms are going to be better. Your cognition, your thinking, your ability to think late in the day is going to be better. You're going to be less tired, and it's good for your brain. Okay.
Yeah.
So when in the Parkinson 25 for people with or without Parkinson, those are my top. Something for air,
Yep.
something for water, something for food, sleep, and exercise.
Exercise. And it's interesting because, UF just issued the top 5. They did this study. I'm sure you're familiar with it. And a lot of them are the same. I think the thing for delaying the progression of dementia, and it's sleep, exercise, it's good eating, so Mediterranean diet, calendaring, which I don't know if you'd use that in Parkinson's, but a lot of us with just regular old dementia or Alzheimer's type, it's kind of writing down everything that you're going to do during the day and then checking a box. They found that somehow delays the progression of the disease. And then full body exercise, you said, sleep, and there's one other one. Oh, brain games. So
Sure.
brain engagement.
Yeah. So these are other things within the 25 too, but I think these are degenerative diseases, right? Dementia, degenerative. There's some that can be due to stroke and vascular disease. But, even in what you do when elder law and people are coming in and you notice it, I think people need to, understand that we're beginning to pivot in medicine and realize that these are not, the preordained, way and where we're going to end up like on purpose, that these are the things that can change, and you have the ability to potentially change your trajectory. And so you shouldn't feel like so boxed in, like, well, you know what, it's just going to happen. No. And it's never too late to get started on these things.